Start by sharing my screen with you. And I'm going to look this evening at some hands involving declare a play. Oops, let me just minimize that. I'm going to look at some hands involving various aspects of declare a play. And let's start off with this one here, which was the one I sent out over the weekend, where you open one spade, your partner bids two clubs, and you've got a minimum hand with 13 points, but 5 spades. So you bid 2 spades, and your partner jumps to 4 spades. So the opponents lead the king of diamonds, let's say, and you need to stop to make a plan. And as is usual when you're playing in a suit contract, one of the first things you need to consider is, are you going to draw trumps first, or are you going to do something else? And it's often a good idea to think about what you would do if you started off by drawing trumps. So the question, and it's the first poll of the evening, is if you start off by drawing all the opponent's trumps in 3 rounds, let's suppose they fall in 3 rounds, how many potential losers will you have? So the poll question is, if you start off by winning this ace of diamonds and then drawing trumps in 3 rounds, how many potential losers will you have? So let me launch that first poll. Let me end the poll and share the results with you. And most of you have gone for 50%, but their answers for 5, 3, and 2. So let's switch back and see what we think. So if you imagine drawing 3 rounds of trumps first before you do anything else, you'll be left with no spade losers, but you'll have 2 heart losers, and you'll have 2 diamond losers. So yes, I agree with the 50% of you who said there are 4 losers there. You don't have any club losers because you've got the ace and king. And so you start off with 4 losers, but obviously you hope to do better than that. And one option that I think a lot of people see and try to play for on a hand like this is to win the ace of diamonds, and then before drawing trumps, ruff diamonds. And if you can ruff 2 diamonds in dummy before you've drawn trump, you will eliminate 2 of those losers, and you'll only end up with 2 heart losers. But there's another option on this hand, and anytime you have a long suit like this, the club suit in dummy, you can often make more tricks if you establish that suit. Sometimes you can just play it and discard your losers, or sometimes you'll need to ruff in order to establish a suit. And anytime you have a long suit, that's definitely an option you should think about. And that turns out to be the best option on this hand, to set up the club suit. And what you need to think of is what the distribution is likely to be. You've got 8 clubs here. So if the missing clubs divide 3 and 2, you should be able to set up that suit by ruffing once. And if you can set up that suit by ruffing once, you can work out that you will be able to make 3 extra club tricks. So you'll make all the clubs except for the one you ruff. And on those 3 club tricks, you'll be able to discard 3 times. And that is actually the best option on this hand. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to win this trick. Now, you can try this in different order, but one thing you could try is starting off by drawing some rounds of trump. So we're going to keep the ace of spades in dummy because we may need that as an entry, but we're going to cash the king and the queen. And if everyone follows to those 2 rounds, now there's just 1 trump out. And we'll be able to draw it and cash clubs. But first we have to establish the clubs. So we need to play the king and then the ace. And if everyone has followed, we're now in great shape because we'll be able to play another club. And we can, if necessary, rough this one high, so it can't be over-roughed. On this occasion, East actually discards. So we know that West has got the last club, and we can rough low or high. It doesn't matter here. We'll just rough low. And now all we need to do is cross back to dummy, drawing that last trump with the ace as we go, and our clubs are good. So we can cash 3 rounds of clubs, discarding 2 diamonds and a heart perhaps. Then at the end, we're going to cash a spade, and we'll lose 1 trick at the end, assuming the opponents have kept a heart, and we'll make 12 tricks on that one. So this hand can make 12 tricks just with fairly normal distribution in the clubs and in the spade suit. By the way, some people with this house hand, it's 13 points, might open 1 no trump. And I don't really agree that I find that opening 1 no trump when you have a good 5-card major like this is not often a good idea, because it's very hard to find your spade pit here. If you open 1 no trump, your partner will probably end up in 3 no trump, which won't do as well as 4 spades here. This was a hand that was actually played some time ago, and when it was played, this was the traveller from it, and you can see that no one made 12 tricks. Some people made 4 spades plus 1. Some people just made 10 tricks, and others went down, others making it 9 or 8 tricks. So I've talked about this topic before, but I think a lot of people have a bit of a blind spot to looking at their hand and dummy, and you need to look for a long suit like that. When you have a long suit like that, you can very often make a lot of tricks by establishing that suit, here by roughing 1 club. You can interrupt me if you have any questions on this, but here's another one. Here we open a spade, and then it goes pass, pass, so my partner is weak, double, and I come in now with my second suit, 2 clubs. West bids 2 diamonds, my partner bids 2 spades, so they have some kind of support for me. But then it goes pass, pass, 3 diamonds, pass, pass, and let's suppose I bid 3 spades on this hand. So we end up in 3 spades, and the opponents lead a diamond, and you can see pretty much what you expected from your partner. They've got just 3 points, but they preferred the spades to the clubs. So let's stop for a minute and make a plan. And again, in a suit contract, we're going to focus on our potential losers. So we hope we're not going to lose any spades, but we've got 2 hearts we're going to lose and a diamond. So it looks like we've got 3 tricks in the red suits we're going to lose. Now, what about clubs? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the opponents have got 6 clubs. If we were lucky and they divided 3-3, we would just be able to draw trumps and then cash 5 clubs, and we wouldn't lose any club tricks. But the 4-2 distribution is more likely. And if the 4-2 distribution in clubs occurs, we will have to rough once in order to establish the suit. So that's my thinking on this hand. So on the first hand we looked at, we had a long suit in dummy. Here we've got a long suit, side suit in our own hand. But the idea is very similar. You can hope to establish that suit by roughing 1 or more times. And here I'm planning to rough it once in dummy. So let's see what happens. They play a diamond, and let's suppose they play another diamond, which we rough. And our thinking on this hand is that we want to rough a club, and we need to cater to that 4-2 distribution. So suppose you start off by playing the ace of clubs and the king of clubs, and everyone follows. So there are now 2 clubs outstanding, and a lot of people on this hand, they make the slight mistake of playing the queen of clubs now. But it's actually much better, because you're planning to rough it, to play a low club, and we're planning to rough that one high so that it can't be over. Now, on this particular layout, West discards, West roughs, so you can over rough, and East follows suit. And now you now know where all the clubs are. If you want to think it over in your mind again, remember you drew 2 rounds, that's 8 gone, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 1 club outstanding. East has it, but it will drop under the queen. So now you've done that, all you need to do is draw trumps. So start with the queen of spades, cross over to your ace, and let's just bring up the 4 hands at this point. All the trumps have gone now, so you can now cash the queen, and the 4 of clubs is good, and you will end up now, after you've drawn the last trump, taken the last trumps out, you'll lose the last 2 tricks. But you'll make 10 tricks on this hand, just losing the 3 tricks in the red suits. And again, you establish the club suit by roughing once here, catering to the most likely 4-2 or 3-3 distribution. Do interrupt me if you have any questions on that. I've got a question here on the bidding. This is another hand that was played a little while ago, and I want to start off with a bidding question for North. You open a spade, your partner bids 2 hearts, and the question is, what do you think North should rebid with this hand? We've got a wide variety of results. 3 spades is a popular one, 4 hearts, 2 spades, or 3 hearts. So let's switch back to it and see what we think. Well, although you could rebid your spade suit, that 2 heart bid should promise at least a 5-card heart suit. The 2 heart response in response to 1 spade, this applies whether you're playing ACOL or standard American or any other system. The 2 heart response to 1 spade should promise a 5-card suit. So you found a heart fit, and you should support your partner. I think you might well decide to just bid 3 hearts, because your hand is a minimum. If you look at your losers, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losers. So you might bid 3 hearts or 4 hearts, but either way, the best contract to end up in here is a heart contract. Although when this was actually played, a lot of people ended up in a spade contract. So let's have a yeah.
Yeah, can I ask a question? It's Maggie.
Yeah.
On that hand, is it too ambitious to bid 4 clubs as a splinter bid?
Right, 4 clubs as a splinter bid. Okay. I think it's a little, well, your partner should have say 10 points or so. So I suppose you might consider 4 clubs. Yeah. That should definitely be a splinter bid, yes. So that's possible. Otherwise, maybe you just bid 4 hearts or 3 hearts. Anyway, how you went?
Tony?
Yeah.
You said the two partner should only bid a 5-card suit. Then, but what happens if he hasn't got a 5-card suit?
Okay, so it's only the 2 heart response to 1 spade that promises a 5-card suit.
Oh, I see.
So 2 clubs or 2 diamonds just promises a 4-card suit. Or to any other bid, a response promises 4 cards. But in nearly all bidding systems, you reserve the 2 heart bid to promise a 5-card suit. So if you trust your partner's bidding, you can support them, and let's suppose you end up in 4 hearts.
Okay, but supposing he hasn't got a 5-card, 5 hearts. He's only got 4 hearts, and he's
then he will
4, 3, 3, 3.
Right. Okay. So this is a subject of another talk, really. But basically, partner will either have a a another 4-card suit, a minor suit they can bid, or they may have that 3-4, 3-3 distribution. And in that case, you either respond in no trump, or you sort of manufacture a bid of 2 clubs. But it's another topic. But it's important to play that the 2-heart bid promises a 5-card suit.
Okay.
So let's have a look. Let's try and make a plan on this one, and let's have a little think of how many losers we have here. So if we look at the suits one at a time, we've got no spade losers. We've got a lot of extra tricks in spades, perhaps. In hearts, we are going to lose 1 trick, we hope, unless there's a very bad trump break. In diamonds, we've got 2 diamonds to lose. So that's 1 heart and 2 diamonds. And we've got some clubs to lose, which, again, you can either plan to rough those in dummy, but again, here with a long spade suit, it may work out better to try and cash the spades, discarding losers. And again, with a long side suit like this, it's very often the best option. So that's what we're going to try and do on this hand. Let's start off winning the ace of diamonds. And let's suppose we start drawing trumps. We draw 2 rounds of trumps with the ace and then the king. And if everyone follows, there's 1 high trump out, but of course we're not going to draw it, because if we draw it, the opponents will get in and we're able to cash diamonds. What we're going to do instead is try to cash as many spades as we can before they can rough. So we'll start with the queen and cross over to the ace. And let's suppose we play another spade and east follows. And we're going to start by discarding our diamonds. And let me just bring up the 4 hands at this point. We're going to now play another spade, and east should realize what's going on and should rough that. But we can still discard our last diamond. They can't prevent that. And now whatever they play, suppose they play a diamond, we can rough that. All the trumps have gone, so we can now play the ace of clubs, rough a club to get to dummy, and take our last 2 spade tricks. Okay, we have to rough one as it turns out, but we make 12 tricks on this one. So again, playing the spades was probably the best option here, because even if we are able to rough 2 clubs, we've got those 2 diamond losers, and we'll never make as many tricks by roughing diamonds. We'll have a better chance to make more tricks if we play off the spades. This was actually, yeah.
Could I ask you something?
Yeah.
We've in the north hand, you've got 6 spades. I thought that with 6 you would bid 3 spades.
Okay. Well, I think the north hand, if you decide to rebid spades, I think you should just bid 2 spades, because you've only got 12 points. And in terms of your losers, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7 losers. The 3 spade bid, if you make it, should be more like a medium hand, something closer to 15 or 16 points. And I know it's a lovely spade suit, but I think it's closer to bidding 2 spades if you decide to rebid spades. When this hand was actually played, this was actually the traveller, and you can see most people did end up in spades rather than in hearts. Although according to the computer, as we found, you can make more tricks in hearts. You can make 12 tricks in hearts and only 10 tricks in spades. So the heart contract is superior. The best result was by someone who made 11 tricks. No one made 12 tricks. But again, it was making use of the long spade suit there to make tricks. If you did play it in hearts, incidentally, this is perhaps how it was bid some sometimes if it went one spade, let's just bring up the hands. If it went one spade, two hearts, if you did rebid three spades, then you'd end up in four spades. And then the number of tricks you can make depends actually on the opening lead. And what if I click on the GIB button, it's saying that the best lead from the defense's point of view is a diamond, which will hold declarer to 10 tricks. A more likely lead is the club. And if they lead a club, declarer can make 12 tricks there. So it can make 12 tricks depending on the lead if you play it in spades. I agree the North Hand is close to rebidding three spades, but I think two spades is perhaps better. Okay, let's have a look at one more. And this time, East opens a diamond. You overcall a heart. North jumps to three hearts, and you bid four hearts. And the opponents lead a diamond, the Queen of Diamonds. And once again, I'd like you to think about how many potential losers you have. So have a count of how many losers you think you might have here. And here comes the poll. And the question is, how many losers do you think declarer has? And nearly all of you have gone for four, with a small number saying 3 or 5. And let's see what we think. Well, let's go through the suits one at a time. In spades, I'm going to count that as one loser because I got the ace king, and I'm going to lose the third round. I hope I'm not going to lose any hearts. I've got good trump, but I've got 2 diamond losers and a club. So yes, I agree. You have 4 losers here, and we've got to find some way to avoid one of those losers. But before we gain the lead, East overtakes with the king here, plays the ace of diamonds. Everyone follows. And East now plays the jack of diamonds. And I've got the final poll of the evening, which is what should you play from the south hand? Okay, let's have a look at the results. And most of you have gone for a high heart, 71%, with a smaller number going for a club or a spade. No one chose a low heart, which was great, because you should realize that based on the bidding and based on the play, that West is almost certainly void in diamonds. They started off with the queen, played another one, and if you rough low, you'll almost certainly get over roughed. So yes, I think I will rough high on this hand because I've got very good trumps. I've got the ace, king, queen, jack 10, and I think I can afford to rough high. In fact, if I click on the GIB button, it's telling me that I can make this contract, but only if I rough high with the ace, king, or 10, or only if I discard a spade. If I discard a club, I can't make it. So why is that? Well, what we're going to do on this hand is hope to establish a spade trick. And we're going to have to lose a spade along the way, but we hope that if the spades divide evenly, 3-2, we'll be able to make at least one spade trick. And on the spade, last spade, we can discard a club loser. So that's what we're going to do on this hand. We're going to rough high with the ace, king, or 10. Okay, West discards as predicted. And you can start by drawing trumps on this hand. So let's suppose we draw one round there, and probably here you led the king. You probably should have led a low one, but anyway, that's how it was played. They played another heart, and that's actually 2 rounds of trump gone. So that's 8 plus the rough is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's all the trump gone. And now our only real hope to make another trick somewhere is in spades. So we're going to play the ace and the king, and then lose a spade. we can't prevent that from happening. But if West follows to that one there, but we have now set up a spade trick in dummy. We've got the 5-4, which will provide a discard. So if they play a club, we're going to win that one with the ace, and we can cross over to dummy's queen, and we can cash a spade, discarding a club loser. And after that, we're down to just trumps. So we'll just make our 10 tricks on that one. So that was quite a tricky one. When it was played, no one made 10 tricks in hearts, but it really, the only good chance was to establish that spade suit. Even though it involved losing a trick, that was the best option there. Okay. And just one last hand to look at. Let's look at this one where North, your partner, has opened a weak 2, and you've got a lot of points here. I think 18 or so. And let's suppose you bid 3, no trump. And the opponents lead a spade, which is sort of quite a good lead for you because at least you've got 2 stoppers there. And let's stop to make a plan. And this time we can see we've got 2 spades, 1 heart, 2 diamonds, and 2 clubs. So we start off with 7 tricks. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 top tricks. And the best chance for more is in diamonds. And what we're going to do here is try to establish the diamond suit. And we need to think about the likely diamond division. We've got 8 diamonds. Someone's got at least 3. And if we hope they divide 3, 2, then we won't, we'll lose 1 trick, but we'll be able to make the rest. But with no entries to the north hand, you have to lose that diamond early on. So let's suppose we win that first trick with the king, and suppose we play the jack of diamonds, and West plays the queen. And it's very tempting to beat this one with the ace or the king. But if I bring up the 4 hands and click on the GIB link, you can see that you must resist that temptation. You must let them win this trick. And then as long as the diamonds divided 3, 2, you'll be able to play diamonds again and make the rest of the trick. So playing the ace or the king will lead to failure here. You must let them win that one. Whatever they play now, you can regain the lead. And then when you play the diamonds, as long as they divided 3, 2, then the diamonds are now set up, and you'll be able to make all those diamond tricks. At the end, you can make 2 clubs and a heart. Will come to at least 10 tricks, and you'll probably lose the last 2 tricks, but you'll make 10 tricks there. And again, it involved making sure you ducked a diamond early on in order to set up that suit. That was because there were no other entries to the north hand. So there are some different examples of establishing a long suit. It's a topic I've covered before, but I thought it's worth going over again because a lot of people don't seem to look for those opportunities, especially in a suit contract. But it's often a great way to make lots of extra tricks. Anyone have any questions about any of that? I'll stop sharing the screen there. And if anyone wants to speak up, if they need a partner, you can do so now, or you can join the game, and I'll see you online.